Okay, hello everybody. It's the 19th week of 2026 and we are here to do a special report. A special report. Apparently, we've got ice. Maybe Pat, you can help me out with this.
I didn't
Ice
know
is
ICE.
now
I didn't know
mortgage.
ICE got into mortgage monitoring.
Yeah, yeah. So I looked it up to make sure that this was legit stats that we need to talk about, but
What does ICE stand for?
well, it is a subsidiary of the Intercontinental Exchange.
Oh,
They
okay. Okay.
monitor, yeah, New York Stock Exchange. They monitor the mortgage industry. So the good news is that in April, so the of course data is always in reverse, right? So we had the strongest single month gain in nearly 2 years. And if
Hmm.
we take that gain and amortize it over a 12-month period, potentially we could see home prices actually appreciating now. So I don't know. I mean, news to be told in the near future, but that's some great news I think we needed to talk about coming into with all the bad news that's out there every day to day basis, right?
Well,
Here we've
hey,
got,
can I ask you quickly? What
yeah,
that 0.9%, is that annual or is that per? Is that uh,
no, so that's the monthly. So the US home prices rose 0.23, and that's on, annual, yeah, it's on a monthly basis. So if you amortize it, I
or
can't say
annualize it? Annualize it?
amortize it.
Amortize, analyze,
Oh my
whatever.
God. Now, now I'm not looking so brilliant anymore. But yeah, we equivalent home prices appreciate at nearly 4% if that remains. So I mean that's we're speculating, but I think that's some great news. Some real
But
great news.
I think more importantly, I mean, just from my standpoint, this market, people say it's weird or sluggish. I mean, it's been overall. If you step back, like we talked about the last couple months, it's been more stable. Even though we've got the Iran war and all, a lot of news that's day to day, week to week that makes it somewhat feel unstable. But for the most part, your rates have been stuck in this, the 6 and 3/8, 6.5. Obviously moved up, but overall, if you look at it, there's inventory out there and things stable. They seem quote stable. They're not moving up or down in a crazy amount.
Yeah. So last week data, our Crawford report showed 25,898 homes. So we're not increasing.
What
It,
line are we looking at?
the blue. Can you see the? Can you see that? Didn't you see my arrow when I point at?
Uh,
No.
no. What?
So the light blue underneath the pink line.
Okay. The aqua.
Yep, the aqua. The aqua. So that's week 19. And our inventory is staying it's lower than it was last year. And if you look at the trend over the course of the year, we're actually seeing our inventory, settle down a little bit. This is also probably more helpful. So the demand, can you see our trend of the red line is the demand for homes.
Yep.
So we're still in the upward trend. We did have the supply increasing, but now that we go back to this, we can see that supply starting to stay flat. So if supply is staying flat and demand is increasing, some good news. Some real
Yeah,
good
and
news.
that pretends. I mean, obviously, what I'm seeing on my end or talking to other loan officers is that other loan officers, they've been steady busy. I mean, we had a pretty busy month last month. Like once again, we've talked about the last sessions with Rick in the last couple of months. To me, it just feels like people, and I've repeated myself a million times, but it seems like the people that are out looking are the ones that have been waiting around the last year or two. And there's people out there that can't wait. They maybe had another one or two kids and they've got to do something. That people are waiting for rates to come down back, maybe say 4 or 5%. They realize that that's not going to happen. I just think that it's reality's kind of hitting them square in the face, and they're okay. We've got to probably do something. That's what I'm saying.
So most of the home purchases, most home sales, the majority of home sales is current homeowners. We're not seeing a lot of activity not as much activity with first time home buyers. So until we had more inventory and even interest rates being more reasonable, when interest rates are at 7, upwards of 8, it didn't really allow the homeowner to make choices to,
Hmm.
like you say, they're making life decisions. So whether that be downsizing, whether that be upsizing, when you've got high interest rates, low inventory, it doesn't allow them to shift into those. And so we're in a much better market this year since June of last year, we're in a much better market where you've got this inventory that's sticking around, and you've got interest rates at the first of the year. We saw them come into a much more reasonable
Yeah.
range for affordability. And, we talk about affordability being our biggest concern. And on that, I think this is, let's talk about affordability. Oh, wrong one. Ay. Without Rick, what do we do without Rick?
Yeah, no kidding.
We
Rick
learn and we
helps.
keep trying.
Rick helps.
Yeah, April 2025 to April 2026, wages grew finally, and we weren't seeing any kind of wage growth, which when housing costs and expenses are going up, you've got inflationary issues and no wage growth. That really does cause the affordability of housing to sit on the back burner. And like you said, when you say get excited now, because inventory's sticking where it is. We've got wage growth up, and then back to our ICE report. And we've got
The only caveat that I see is obviously this the gas. The gas is obviously the oil and gas, the war, obviously has increased people's cost. With rates moving up from 5.99 to 6, up to around 6 and 3, 6.5. The payment difference is about on a $475,000 purchase is about $110, $115 a month. Not to be devil's advocate, but obviously I think this last couple months probably does pull back people a little bit. Like gas has gone up. People are using they have to fill up every couple of days if they're driving. Their costs, their expenses have gone up a couple $100 a month. Inflation's still there. It's still sticky. Yeah, obviously based on the CPI report, came at 3.8. The PPI came in really hot, and that's going to bleed into the CPI eventually the next couple months. So yeah, not to be, Debbie Downer here. I totally agree with you. It's been these, you've got different factors that are pulling people either way. Like you said, the inventory's been increasing, which is a good thing, and things are more on a rate standpoint. Obviously, we're sitting in a much better position than we were last year, no doubt.
Yeah. Do you want me to talk about your rates?
Yeah, real quick, since I bore the living hell out of people doing that, but yeah, what the hell, let's do it.
At your stage.
Yeah, whatever.
We don't need to see rates today.
Come on. Yeah, what should we do?
That's
my gig. Can you pull
well,
it up?
You have to share your screen again. Yeah, it's not. It's not letting me do it. So you might have to reshare your screen again.
Well, this is no. Let's see. Stop screen. I'll do it again.
Yeah. It says ban. It says I can ban you. Ooh.
Oh, okay. All right, go ahead.
The power.
It'll be the first time.
Okay, add to stage.
Okay.
Before presenting a screen, look, remove other media. Oh, I have to remove other media.
This will be. Come on, get your stuff off.
ICE.
Oh, there we go.
ICE, and then we're gonna. I think it's gonna make me remove you. I'm kidding. I got it.
There you go. All right. You wouldn't want to remove. I know. I'm the best thing since sliced bread.
Very critical.
No,
part of the week.
Overall, we've seen that. Like today, we're just having the 5% coupons up 11 basis points. It's kind of a whole hum day to day. I was looking at where we would have to get, rates back to 5.99 and 6. I mean, we're looking at right now. One of my lenders here, Next Bank. I don't know if I can increase this, but you look at the pricing right now. 6.5 is the cost of $371. So you're looking at 6.5, 6 3/8. Back about in February, we were at 6.599. You look at the way I look at it, we are 2 points away from 5.99. And if you were to price it out on the trend line in terms of, the cost is now $9,000, $8,000 to get down to 6.599. We would have to get back to around. This is where rates were. We would have to get on the 10-year Treasury back February 27th. We would have to see a 10-year Treasury at around 3.99 or 4, and we're sitting at 4.45 right now. So we'd have to see a dramatic decrease in the 10-year Treasury to get back down to around 6.599 or 6. So it's going to take some work to get down there. We certainly could if we do get some resolve on this Iran war, but because this market's been trading day to day, week by week, as far as what's going to happen with the war. So I can't sit here and predict that. I don't think nobody can predict where the heck this war is going to go. I think there's going to be eventually war fatigue. Hopefully it doesn't go on longer. But my pessimistic side says it's going to go on longer than we anticipated. We're going to see this elevated rates for, if we do see any type of resolve on it, yes, rates will improve, but until then, we're still going to be stuck.
So at the beginning of the year, the Feds had planned and had a couple of rate cuts in the system. And then once after the snowstorms, after the first of the year and all the holidays are over, that was the talk amongst the Federal Reserve Board. And now we've got Kevin Warsh coming in officially, and he's going to try to trend along that as much as he can, but he's got to have the rest of the board on board with making those changes. And with the fact that right now we have inflationary issues because of a war, the talk is great, but let's just assume that none of that happens. So if we sit in this exact position, just letting the war work out, and housing's doing great, right? Overall, even mortgage rates are doing great. We could both
Relatively
say,
speaking,
why didn't they go back up to 7? Once we saw these inflationary numbers. So I think that's something really valid to kind of keep under discussion and watch too. Is we're not seeing inventory increase with huge numbers. We're not seeing interest rates above 7%. So, keeping this all calm, even with a war going on, is kind of cool.
No, I agree. I mean, yeah. You look at it. I mean, based on the news that's been out there the last couple of months since February with the war, you think that in the inflation numbers, like I said, 3.8, the 6% on the PPI numbers, was rearing its ugly head. I think if you look back in past history, that we should have seen rates 6 3/4, 7, 7.25, but we're sitting at 6 3/8, 6.5, which obviously, like you said, I agree with you that that's kind of giving a precursor as far as, hey, you know what, it's hanging in there. So, and I think the biggest thing, and I've said this a million times too, is if somebody is in a position where they can get seller concessions, one way you can relieve that rate pressure short term, is obviously a 2-1 buy down. So if we're still in a position where we are getting seller concessions. So people can strategically buy something if they sit down and think about what they want to do and how they want to pursue it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, we had the zip code report, QR code up in the top right. You see it up there, top right. Don't forget to click on your zip code report, because one thing that we're seeing a lot of discrepancies in is specific zip codes.
Yeah.
So we had a listing. I think Rick mentioned it last week over Mother's Day, and had high traffic on it, and ended up with multiple offers after the weekend. And the client would have never expected, per our discussion of saying our average days on market are 90 to 120 days, didn't expect, we priced it accordingly, but still didn't expect the amount of activity. So zip code specific here in Arizona, we're seeing a lot more of the comfortable buyers making moves and switches in certain zip codes because if there's not a lot of inventory, they're getting their price, which I think is very important. Now on the outskirts, in cities that have a lot more inventory, it's very slow. In fact,
Yeah.
it's not fun to make a phone call to say, yep, we had no traffic this weekend. And what do I need to do differently? I don't know what you can do differently. You can drop your price, but that doesn't always necessarily mean it's going to bring traffic. It just simply could be you hold strong and be patient. And, so homes in certain zip codes are still selling pretty quickly and aggressively.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Can I digress a little bit and just kind of give people, what I'm seeing, what's happened to me the last couple months in terms of home buying tips?
Sure.
I'm just
Wait,
strictly.
have you been buying a home recently? And I didn't
No,
know.
no, no, no. I'm just talking about people that I've obviously been working with. What I've seen is, I'm not. If you're out there looking for a home, and we've seen this I think you and I have seen this. I've talked with a couple of other agents. I've had people out looking, and they have very specific criteria, or they run into a home that they absolutely love. What I'm saying is that they still apply the same strategy, like, well, we're gonna. You really got to get with your agent and strategize, because if you find a house that you really do love, you have to ask yourself, if I lose this house, what is it going to mean to me? Where am I going to be? Where am I going to be sitting afterwards? Because I've had 3 specific instances. I'm not going to mention any names or anything like that, but just where people really loved a house, but they lowball by $10,000 or $15,000, $20,000, and they lost it. They didn't get it. I think, how, you have to ask yourself, how would I feel if I don't get this house? Now, don't get me wrong. There's other, I'm sure you've taken people out, Jessica, and like you looked at 20 homes, like, no, nothing hit my, fancy. I didn't really see anything. But if you see that one house, have you been out with a client that they love that one house, but they're like, well, let's see if we can play games on the negotiating, and they lose it? Has that happened to you?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Well, and it depends on the timeline. Earlier I talked about the fact that a lot of our homeowners own homes. So
Yeah.
if you got a home on the market for sale, you're out looking at other homes. Your
True.
home now goes under contract, and you've got a short window. Your window of opportunity to go play ball is shortened. And yeah, do you want to, move twice? Do you want to rent short term temporarily? I mean, those are all factors that do go into helping navigate through that home transition process. So yeah, you've got to have your head on straight. And again, zip codes specific, or maybe even a particular property. I want mountain views or no HOA is not going to be as easy to find in the price point that you might be looking at as, hey, I just need a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house that's under, 350,000.
Yeah. I guess my whole point, I don't know if I'm, making my point clear. Sometimes I don't, sometimes I do, but, if you find that one house that really does fit everything, you really got to sit down and, realign your strategy as far as how you get what kind of offer you're going to put in. Do you want to play games, or do you just basically want to put in a strong offer to get the property sold? Because a lot of people have been looking for 5, 6, 7 months, but they come across that one property and then they still apply that strategy to what they've been doing the last 5 or 6 months. They're like, no, this one's special. We really got to think about, where we want to go. If we do lose this, where is that going to put us in terms of outlooking again? Because, homes do have their own unique, special qualities, each one. And like I said, I've just seen 3 or 4 people lose a property that they're really ticked off that they didn't get it.
For sure. And well, you've added some value to us as agents, and you like providing that house canary report.
Yeah.
as agents, we use multiple resources to go in and find value. And any home that comes up is going to have multiple opinions of what the value of that home is. So, what is the perspective? It's kind of changing the lens they're looking through, right? Take one lens off, put another lens on. If this is your dream home, what do you value? And as an agent and a team that's working for you in a home ownership purchase process, the goal is to justify, to give data, to give the correct tools for them to make an educated decision on buying that house, even if it is at the top of the range.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I think everybody wants to negotiate. But like I said, my whole point is I've seen people, like I said, lose out on 3 or 4 homes that they know that was a special property that they really homed in on after looking for 4 or 5 months. But then they still applied the same negotiating strategies like they did the last 3 or 4 or 5 months. You have to kind of sit back and say, okay, this is special. We got to sit down and really talk about this.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway,
well, going into the weekend, it's going to be, so I said it's going to be a hotter weekend than it has been. We're officially headed into summer. So I'm hoping real estate's hot this weekend. I'm hoping all those buyers get in cars and start driving around. I'm expecting the demand to go up.
I don't think we got anything next week. We don't have anything really. There's just blase number, things coming out next week. Obviously jobless claims, I guess, for 1 week, and nothing seems to be sticking out on the calendar in terms of numbers next week. So, I think the Fed meets next month, June. Not specific what day. I think it's middle of June. That'll be the first. But there's no talk about Feds decreasing rates, so that's kind of off the table right now. It's like
hopefully you said, they don't increase. That's what I'm gonna keep saying. Pat, they're not increasing. I'm happy. They're not increasing.
Well, I mean, the 10-year Treasury, the 10-year Treasury is going to trade off of the expected news. So basically, that's where you just got to watch how the 10-year Treasury is trading day to day, week to week. That's basically going to be your inside scoop on what the Fed is really looking to do, or what the next 6 to 8 months. So, but that's what I keep an eye on. So hopefully we sit around this 4.45 range on the 10-year Treasury. Don't go any higher. We certainly got a trend. I mean, the next break point is 4.48 and 4.59. So, there's a ceiling at 4.66. So we're not that far away, but hopefully we get some relief. Like I said, we're a long ways away right now in terms of getting rates into the 5.99%, 6% range. So I don't see any type of relief happening there right now. Like I said, the only relief that people can really do is and there's more than one, just a 2-1 buy down. There's a 1-1 buy down. There's a 1-year buy down. You could do, there's multiple different buy downs that cost different. They have different cost structures, but that would help people get into a house and give them some relief. So other than that, nothing else to really report.
Yeah, well, we'll report back after the weekend, let you know what kind of activity.
Rick's doing better. Rick had a better day.
Yeah. Yep. Rick's doing great.
Hopefully we get Rick back, so people can. He's the holy grail of this channel, so we got to get him back.
Always. But in the meantime, we work as a team. We're all here for you guys. If there's anything specific, questions, comments, please don't hesitate. Reach out.
Yeah, we'd love to hear people what they're looking for. If they want us to, anything to expand on a little bit further, we'll try to do our best.
Sounds
that's
good.
who it was.
Thanks for chiming in. Y'all have a great rest of the week and a weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Take care.
Bye.